Have you ever found yourself questioning whether someone truly respects you? Have you ever felt like your boundaries were being ignored, leaving you wondering if you were asking for too much? What if I told you that the right one, the one who genuinely values you, will never make you feel that way? Respect is not something you should have to beg for. It is not something that should be compromised in the name of love. A man who truly cares about you will not test your limits, manipulate your emotions, or make you feel guilty for protecting your peace. Instead, he will honor your boundaries because he understands that they are not about control or about self-respect. So, how do you recognize the difference between someone who respects you and someone who is simply trying to push past your limits? And more importantly, how do you stand firm in your boundaries without feeling guilty? Let's talk about why the right one will always respect your boundaries and why settling for anything less is never an option. When a woman values herself, she does not beg for love, she does not settle for less than she deserves, and she does not lose herself trying to fit into someone else's idea of who she should be. She stands firm in the belief that she is enough, just as she is. She understands that her worth is not tied to a relationship, to external validation, or to how much she gives to others at the expense of herself. She knows that the most important relationship she will ever have is the one she has with herself. To truly value yourself means setting standards for how you expect to be treated, not out of arrogance, but out of self-respect. It means recognizing that you are not an option, not a convenience, but a priority. And when you carry yourself with that energy, the people in your life, especially men, will either rise to meet your standards or remove themselves from your path. And let me tell you something, if a man leaves because you require respect, then he was never meant to stay in the first place. A woman who values herself does not chase after love. She does not overextend herself just to be noticed. She does not shrink her dreams, silence her voice, or lower her expectations just to make a man comfortable. She knows that the right one will recognize her worth without her having to prove it. She walks into a room with confidence, not because she is perfect, but because she knows that perfection was never the requirement wholeness is. Now, let's be honest. Society has conditioned women to believe that their value is measured by their relationship status, their ability to please others, or their willingness to sacrifice. But real value does not come from how much you do for others. It comes from how much you honor yourself. A woman who values herself is selective about who she allows into her life. She understands that love is not about being chosen. It is about choosing wisely. It is about making sure that the person you invest in is someone who adds to your life, not someone who drains it. When you truly value yourself, you stop wasting time on people who do not see your worth. You stop accepting half-hearted love, mixed signals, and empty promises. You stop waiting for someone to tell you that you are enough because you already know it deep within yourself. And that kind of confidence, that kind of self-assurance is what makes you not just attractive, but irresistible. A man may be drawn to your beauty, but he will stay for your self-respect. When you value yourself, you become the kind of woman who commands admiration, not just attention. You become the kind of woman who inspires a man to be better, not because you demand it, but because your presence alone sets the standard. And let me tell you something, when you operate from a place of self-worth, you will never have to chase a man, you will never have to prove your worthiness, and you will never have to accept anything less than what you know you deserve. The right man will see you, respect you, and cherish you not because you begged for it, but because you carried yourself with the confidence of a woman who knows her value. And that, my dear, is the most powerful thing you can ever do for yourself. There is something profoundly transformative about appreciation. It has the power to uplift, to strengthen bonds, and to make people feel seen in ways that words often fail to capture. For a man, appreciation is not just about hearing compliments, it's about feeling valued for who he is and what he brings to the table. It's about knowing that his presence, his efforts, and his contributions matter to the woman he cares about. Too often, people assume that men don't need reassurance, that they don't seek validation in relationships the way women do. But the truth is, every human being desires to feel valued. A man may not always express his emotions openly, but he feels deeply. He notices when his hard work is acknowledged, when his small gestures are appreciated, and when his presence is met with gratitude rather than expectation. And when a woman takes the time to appreciate him, not just for what he does, but for who he is, it creates a connection that runs deeper than physical attraction. Appreciation isn't just about saying thank you when he does something nice. It's about recognizing the little things that often go unnoticed. It's about understanding that effort, no matter how small, is a reflection of care. When a man goes out of his way to make you smile, when he listens to you after a long day, when he supports your dreams, those things matter. And when he hears words like, "I see how hard you're working and I appreciate you," or "I love the way you always make me feel safe," it does something to him. It makes him feel respected, valued, and understood. But appreciation is not just about words, it's also about actions. A woman who values a man's efforts reciprocates in ways that show she sees him. It can be as simple as acknowledging his strengths, supporting his goals, or even just offering a warm embrace after a long day. When a man feels appreciated, he is more inclined to give, to invest in the relationship, and to show up as his best self. Love thrives in an environment where both people feel seen, where their contributions are acknowledged, and where gratitude is freely expressed. What's important to understand is that appreciation is not about stroking a man's ego, it's about recognizing his humanity. Just like women, men face pressures, insecurities, and struggles. They want to feel that their presence makes a difference, that they are not just fulfilling a role, but truly adding value to someone's life. When a woman takes the time to remind him that he is valued not for what he provides, but for who he is, it strengthens the emotional bond between them. Appreciation creates a space where love can grow without resentment. Too often, people take each other for granted, assuming that efforts don't need to be acknowledged because they are expected. But what happens when appreciation is absent? Resentment builds. Effort starts to feel unrecognized, and slowly a person who once gave their best begins to withdraw. That is why appreciation must be intentional. It must be spoken, shown, and reinforced, not just in moments of celebration, but in the quiet, ordinary moments of life. A man who feels appreciated will move mountains for the woman who sees his worth. He will protect, cherish, and invest in her not because he has to, but because he wants to. And the most beautiful part, appreciation creates a cycle. When a man feels valued, he naturally gives more, and in turn, the relationship flourishes. Love should never be a one-sided effort. It should be a space where both people feel uplifted, supported, and honored for who they are. When you see a man making an effort, acknowledge it. When he shows up for you, let him know it matters. When he tries, even in the smallest ways, remind him that you see him. Because in a world where people often feel unseen, a little appreciation can make all the difference. There is something truly magical about laughter. It is more than just a reaction to something funny. It is a language of connection, a bridge between two hearts, and a spark that keeps love alive. Laughter has the power to break down walls, to ease tension, and to turn ordinary moments into something extraordinary. It is one of the simplest yet most powerful ways to create a bond that is not just built on attraction, but on genuine joy and companionship. Men are naturally drawn to women who bring lightness into their lives. Life is full of challenges, responsibilities, and stress, and while love is about partnership and support, it should also be about happiness. A woman who can laugh with a man, who can playfully tease, who can turn a tough day into something bearable with just a smile, becomes unforgettable. Laughter is like a secret ingredient that makes relationships feel effortless. It adds a sense of ease, making even the most difficult moments feel a little lighter. A woman who embraces laughter does not take life too seriously. She knows how to let go, how to live in the moment, and how to find joy in the little things. She understands that relationships are not just about deep conversations and grand gestures, but also about the ability to share silly moments, inside jokes, and playful banter. When a man finds a woman who can make him laugh, who isn't afraid to be goofy or spontaneous, he finds someone who brings out the best in him. And that kind of connection is rare. Laughter creates memories that last a lifetime. Think about it when you look back on the best moments of your life. What do you remember most? It's not always the expensive dinners or the serious talks. It's the times when you laughed so hard you couldn't breathe, when you shared a moment that no one else understood, when you looked at each other and just knew that this, right here, was happiness. A man may be attracted to a woman's beauty, but it's her ability to make him feel good that makes him stay. A woman who laughs freely, who doesn't hold back her joy, who embraces playfulness, has a kind of magnetic energy that draws people in. Men love women who can find humor in life, who can take a joke and give one back, who can turn even an awkward moment into something hilarious. That kind of woman makes life feel like an adventure, not a burden. And laughter is not just about fun, it is also healing. In difficult times, when stress is high or emotions run deep, laughter acts as a release. It reminds us that even in the hardest moments, there is still room for joy. When a couple can laugh together, they can face challenges with a sense of unity rather than division. They don't let stress pull them apart because they have something powerful holding them together, the ability to find happiness in each other, even when life is not perfect. Laughter also builds intimacy. There is a deep connection that forms when two people can be completely themselves without fear of judgment. When you can laugh together, you let your guard down. You allow yourself to be vulnerable in a way that says, I trust you enough to be my true self. And that level of comfort is what makes relationships feel safe and unbreakable. A man wants a woman who not only supports him and loves him, but also makes life feel exciting and joyful. He wants to come home to someone who can make him smile after a long day, someone who turns even the simplest moments into something special. A woman who brings laughter into a man's life becomes his peace, his safe space, his favorite place to be. So never underestimate the power of laughter. It is not just a reaction, it is an energy, a force that brings people closer. When you laugh, you light up a room. When you bring joy into a relationship, you create something that is not just passionate, but also deeply fulfilling. And that, more than anything else, is the kind of love that lasts. Supporting a man in a relationship is a beautiful thing, but it should never come at the expense of losing yourself. Too many women fall into the trap of pouring everything they have into a relationship, giving endlessly, sacrificing their own needs, and slowly fading into the background of their own lives. They love so deeply that they forget to leave space for themselves. But true love, real love, should never require you to abandon who you are. A man admires and respects a woman who stands by him, encourages him, and believes in him. He appreciates the woman who listens when he needs to talk, who stands beside him through the highs and lows, and who reminds him of his strength when he feels weak. But the right man does not expect her to give up her own dreams, to shrink herself, or to place his needs above her own every single time. A healthy relationship is not built on one person sacrificing while the other thrives. It is built on two people growing together, supporting each other, while still maintaining their own identities. A woman who knows how to support without losing herself understands balance. She does not abandon her own ambitions just to make a man feel important. She does not dim her light so he can shine brighter. She does not say yes to everything just to avoid conflict. Instead, she stands strong in her own right. She supports him, but she also expects support in return. She gives, but she does not give until she is empty. She understands that love should be mutual, not one-sided. There is nothing wrong with standing by a man's side, but a woman must also stand firm in who she is. A strong woman continues to pursue her passions, her goals, and her happiness, even while she is in love. She does not allow the relationship to define her, brings her full self into it. And when a man sees that she is secure in herself, that she has her own life, her own dreams, and her own sense of purpose, he respects her even more. Many women believe that in order to keep a man happy, they must make him their entire world. But love should never feel like losing yourself. If you find yourself constantly bending, compromising, and giving up pieces of yourself just to keep the relationship intact, then it is not love, it is self-neglect. And real love should never require you to disappear. A man will love and cherish a woman who supports him, but also expects to be supported. A woman who knows her worth, who maintains her independence, and who understands that her happiness is just as important as his. She is not afraid to be there for him, to lift him up, and to celebrate his victories, but she also demands the same in return. She is not afraid to say, I support you, but I also have my own dreams, my own life, and my own needs. And the right man will respect that, because the kind of woman who knows how to love herself first is the kind of woman he never wants to lose. Being a supportive partner does not mean giving up your own story to fit into someone else's. It means walking alongside the person you love, not behind them. It means knowing that your happiness matters too. It means understanding that love is about partnership, not sacrifice. Because the truth is, the strongest relationships are built when two people come together as whole individuals, each bringing their own strength, their own light, and their own purpose into the love they share. When a woman knows her worth, she understands the importance of setting boundaries. She is not afraid to communicate what she will and will not tolerate. She does not allow fear of losing someone to keep her from standing firm in her values, because she knows that the right one will respect her limits, not try to push past them. Boundaries are not walls. They are the foundation of a healthy relationship. They create respect, trust, and a space where love can flourish without the fear of being taken for granted. A man who truly values a woman does not make her feel guilty for protecting her peace. He does not pressure her into situations that make her uncomfortable. He does not dismiss her feelings, ignore her needs, or make her question whether she is asking for too much. Instead, he listens. He understands that her boundaries are a reflection of her self-respect, not a challenge to his authority. He knows that a woman who honors herself is not difficult. She is simply someone who refuses to be mistreated. A strong woman does not allow love to blur the lines of self-respect. She does not let emotions override her sense of what is right for her. She understands that true love does not require her to abandon herself to make someone else happy. A man who genuinely cares for her will never put her in a position where she has to choose between being with him and staying true to herself. He will recognize that her boundaries are not obstacles. They are the guidelines that ensure the relationship remains healthy, balanced, and fulfilling for both of them. When a woman clearly expresses her boundaries, the wrong man will become frustrated, distant, or manipulative, trying to make her feel guilty for standing her ground. He will test her limits, hoping she will weaken over time, and he will disguise control as love. But a man who truly respects her will not only accept her boundaries, but also appreciate them. He will understand that they make her the strong, confident, and self-assured woman he admires.